I am a theater maker by profession. I write, I direct, I produce, and also I do what is called public art curation and creation, and I'm an activist. So I'm also a Shack Theatre's innovator, an award-winning theater practitioner, and I consider myself right now a cultural and social entrepreneur, as I am also doing so many other things. I co-own Umjita clothing brand, Umjita recording studio, and Umjita wines, food and beverages. So I am jack of all trades. I'm a game changer within the arts. And I was born in Tsofimvaba in the late 80s. And that is where I grew up until I was around 5 years old, before I moved to the city where my mother was working as a domestic worker. And yeah, growing up in the township, it has been amazing for me. I grew up in my mother's forum track. I wasn't alone. It was me and my brothers. At home, there are no girls, so we are only brothers. Ntsikelelo Sindo, Zuko Sindo, may his soul rest in peace, and myself with Emihle, who came later, early 2000. So, growing up, Ekasi, it has been amazing. It taught me so many things as a young man. It taught me to be strong. It taught me to believe in myself. It taught me to fight for what I want. So I grew up in a family where there is a lot of care, there is love, there is protection. My mother is a single mother. So I last saw my father when I was 6 years old, but my mother has always been there for us till today. And what I remember about my childhood, and I remember the fact that I was loved. I was not shy at all, and that's the reason why I got into acting, or I got into the art industry, because I was someone who was never shy. I was someone who was so much expressive, and it has always been amazing to be in that kind of space. I was very young by then. It was around 1998 when a group of guys from Equezy Theatre Company came to our primary school to perform a production that they were taking to France. And after, or even during their performance, I was stunned. I was like, what is this? It was my first time to see a live performance, as someone who's coming from an informal settlement where there was no electricity, there was no TV. So I couldn't say, or I won't even say today, that I was inspired by so and so that I watched on television. I saw guys like Zimasa May, Temba Baleni, and Samson Faleni performing on stage live. And I was like, this is what I want to do in my life. I want to be an actor. And it went on and on and on, and then I started to join Iselole Sizwe Theatre Company, which is what we started. But when I began, we're coming from Young Performers Theatre Company, where we would perform in different preschools, different schools in the street. Before it was called public art, it was then called street theatre, where we expressed our performances within our communities on the street. And then later we started to establish Iselole Sizwe Theatre Company, which is called Calabash of the Nation. And then that is where my love for the arts grew in such a way that I decided to go and study theatre at the University of Cape Town, where I did my degree in community theatre practice. So when I got there, there was theatre making, there was acting, but also there was this thing that is called community theatre practice. And when I asked one of my lecturers, what does it mean? He said to me, this is for people who wants to go into the townships and work with large groups of people, heal, inspire and educate. Those are words that came to my mind from then, and that's the reason why today I decided that I want to implement and create shack theaters in the townships for young people. So it's not about acting for me, but it is also about education. It is about how do I inspire people who are coming from different and marginalized communities, but through the arts. So my purpose is in the arts, and it will never change. Yes, now I'm starting to venture into entrepreneurship, but the arts speaks to me. Started to be on stage, actually, as I said, in 1998. We performed for like to 3 years. Productions like Mgoduse, productions like Three Rats with a friend of mine, may he so rest in peace, Abongile Khoza, who was the Zakumi mascot during the 2010 FIFA World Cup. So he died in a car accident. So it was someone that I was always with on stage. It was amazing to perform. It was amazing to act in the street. It was amazing to act for young people. It was amazing to act in preschools, because even for us, we were able to transcend information through performance. And then when I got to perform in spaces like Baxter Theatre, Artscape Theatre, that is when I saw the reality of acting. That is when I started to act in 2004, to act under lights, big sound, big audience, different kinds of people, black, white, colored, coming to see you performing on stage. We're doing a production called Calabash, and the other one was called All Brown Joe. That is when I was like, now I want to take this thing further. I did a lot of productions, Return of the Ancestors with Mike van Graan, Ucho Me by Farelo Nemakonde as well, but also I directed a lot of productions that have changed lives. Mari and Ghana, also you can find it on YouTube. So my works also are productions that speaks to the soul and the heart. Productions that really connect with what is happening in the townships. And that's the reason why after graduating from university, I told myself that I want to go back to the townships, build theaters for young people. Yes, I do not have money to build brick theater, or a theater that is created out of bricks, but because I grew up in a shack, so I can be able to innovate and renovate spaces, especially shacks, into theaters. So for me, acting, it has always been amazing. I'm an actor, I'm a theater maker, I'm a writer, I'm jack of all trades within the space of creativity or within the space of the arts. My mom did not know much about the arts, and because I'm the only one and the first one in the family to go to university, my brothers didn't go to university, so I was the first one to go to university. It was an amazing feeling from her that I am going to university, even if I'm studying the arts, doing accounting, whatsoever. But what was profound, or what was amazing, was the fact that I am going to university. She will be proud, and she's proud that one of her sons is going to study at university. Not just any university, the University of Cape Town, one of the biggest universities in the world. But what I can say, what made her to fall in love with the arts like I do right now, is the fact that when I was doing a production, All Brown Joe, and the Calabash at the Baxter Theatre as part of Ikwezi Festival, we got a little bit of money. You understand that we were paid by our directors by then. It was 2004, and I took all of that money back home. That is when she saw that there is money in the arts. He can bring something into the table. Went on to buy groceries. So I think from that day, she would even wake me up, go to the rehearsals. You understand? Because that money was a motivation. And that's the reason why right now I always say to theater practitioners, pay the artists. Make sure they get something, even if it's 500 rands, that it would change other people's perspective. It will change their parents. It will motivate them to support them within this craft that they are doing. So my mother had no problem at all with me going to study at UCT or to study arts. Yeah, early struggles and successes in varsity. Varsity, first of all, I went to primary school in the townships. I went to high school in the townships where we were taught even English in isiXhosa. So the word prepare in our schools, you were taught preparisha. Your English teacher is like preparisha, was never like prepare. So it was even my first time at the University of Cape Town to sit next to a white person, to be obliged to speak English all day. I was like, I'm getting tired of this, but at the same time, I need to adjust into it. I need to adjust into this environment, and so that, because I want to equip myself with education, I wanted to study, I wanted to become someone different in my community, someone different in my family, or someone different even in my village in the Eastern Cape where I come from. But it was never easy at all. Everything was about English, writing English, speaking English, acting, English. And I was like, when are we decolonizing these processes? When are we starting to write in isiXhosa, how you feel in isiXhosa, how you act in isiXhosa? Gladly that there were productions that were also created in isiXhosa, and we were given that time to express ourselves in isiXhosa. But mostly 80% of the things that we're doing in university were in English. And the most difficult time was when I was at res. You know, sometimes you have to go back to your room at residence, and then you start practicing, you play your drums. I was in a process of even going to court because I was fighting with a warden who wanted to take me to court because I was making noise in my room. And I was like, this is what I'm here for. Yes, there is a neighbor next door who is doing accounting, is always on his books. Playing a drum to me is my book. You understand? This is my practice. If it has to be, then UCT must create a residence for artists only so that we can make our noise in our own space. So those are the difficult things that I encountered when I was still at university. But what was amazing was the fact that I was able to access education. That was success to me. Today, I am a graduate. Today, I am making it in the industry. Today, I am innovating. I'm changing minds. I'm doing things that were not done before. You understand? And that is quite an amazing thing for me to do. And God bless those people who have inspired us from university. Sabata Cecil, thank you very much. Yeah, you know, that's one of the reasons why I decided to go to study. You understand? Was to inspire, was to change lives through theater, because where we come from in Khayelitsha, there are no theaters, there are no spaces for young people, and there are no spaces where they can create art and heal each other and rehearse their productions. We used to use a community hall, and we used to be kicked out on that community hall, especially when there were weddings, there were funerals and other activities, because as artists we didn't have money to rent those spaces. So when I was still at UCT, I saw how easy it was to transform a space into a theater. This space yesterday was a lecture room, and then today it has become a theater. And then I asked myself, what is it that I can do for myself and for my community to change lives of those who wants to see themselves having a space to rehearse? That's the reason why I went back to Khayelitsha, did not stay in town. I went back to Khayelitsha after I graduated, and I told myself that I wanted to innovate and create spaces. There were spaces that were already in existence. I started to move into those spaces, stretch those spaces and open up those spaces. And luckily one of the spaces, Magukanye, it was known as Magukanye Hall then. And then I came, it was like a small space that could accommodate about 20 people. Went back to that space, opened up that space into 120-seater. Got a production that I was busy with called Shepherds and Butchers, got material into it, opened up that space, innovated and renovated the space into one of the first Shack theaters in South Africa. Right after that, I decided also, now we have a theater space, but now we need an educational space. Many young people in the township, they go to town, they go to Magnet, they go to Rainbow Arts, they go to all of these spaces to access education. They go to UCT, they go to City Varsity to access education, especially about the arts. What is it that I can do? That's the reason why now I decided to create Khayelitsha Art School and Rehabilitation Center, which is called KASEARC. All of these innovations, they've created thousands of people, helped them, and made sure that they go to university. There's so many graduates right now who are coming from programs that we are running and programs that we have been constantly running since 2012 after I graduated from university. So we changed lives, and right now people, they know how much they're worth. People, they are creating their own works, and people are able now to even start creating other innovations, and it's spreaded around the country. People in Johannesburg, they started also now to innovate spaces, to renovate spaces into theaters. It became very exciting because now we start to see alternative art spaces in the marginalized communities. So it is something that it became quite very precious to me, and I'm glad to see people taking that initiative of creating such spaces. There are programs like Amazing Women Arts Event that we are doing, where we teach young women to become directors, writers, producers in the industry, as we all know that we have a lack of young black females who are becoming writers and directors within our industry. Everything is about white people or a bit of colored people, but black people are expected to be just on stage. You understand? And that is why many black people, they always succumb to exploitation. You understand that? Because they are expected to work for someone. They don't become producers. They don't become bosses. So that program, Amazing Women Arts Event, it has been running since 2013, and it has produced a lot of young women now who are at university, not studying acting, but studying theater making as writers and directors. So it is not about me. It is about the communities. It is about young people who had talent even before I got into their lives. But it's just that I became a key to open up some other channels and to open up some other doors, and became a link that they might meet someone who can change their lives. So big up to Kasi RC, big up to Magukanye Art Room that I've created as well, and big up to what we are doing right now, which is Umchita Records, where we are mainly focusing on how to create music that speaks to the soul, clean music, not these things that we are witnessing right now. Yeah, there's so many projects and there's so many ideas that comes to my mind. Mchita Records is one of the projects that we create right now. We have a studio where we record young people with less price, or sometimes even free, because we want their parents and their backgrounds or whoever that is associated with them to believe in them and see their creativity and see and witness their talents. So Mchita Records is an open space. We have a recording studio in Cape Town, a recording studio in Johannesburg, and we are hoping to have another recording studio in the Eastern Cape in Queenstown, where we are traveling to and implementing all the programs that we do. But because of funds, we also decided to say, okay, what is it that we can do to make sure that we have funding or we have support for what we are doing? Let's create another businesses within these businesses. It's called Umchita Entertainment. It's an umbrella. Then Umchita Entertainment has Umchita Wines, has Umchita Foods, has Umchita Clothing, and has Umchita Records. So Umchita Wines, Umchita Foods, and Umchita Clothing, they help other initiatives like Kasi RC and Umchita Records to function and move forward. But also there is a beautiful wife behind all of this work that I'm doing. My wife, Uliso, the musician, who is also a musician, a profound, well-known musician who does her own style of music called ancestral jazz. So she helps so much in terms of getting, she gets gigs around, and whatever money she makes, 50% is hers and 50% goes to these initiatives that we are building together. Because also I work as a radio presenter, I work as a voiceover artist, I work as an actor, I work as a director. So whatever money that I make, 50% goes to these businesses. Otherwise, if we do not do so, they won't thrive. They will die like other organizations that were were existing before. So yeah, you have to be creative. You have to wake up for your own dream. Don't wait for anybody to come and save your dream. Save yourself. Be able to use your mind. You understand? Be able to use your creativity and your senses to move forward. What is it that I can say to a learner that is doing grade 12 right now who wants to pursue in the arts? Follow your dreams. Your dreams are valid. People will talk and talk. People will say to you there is no money in the arts. There is money in the arts. Focus into what you want. Focus into what you want or who you want to become at the end of the day. If you want to be an actor, follow that dream. If you want to be a director, follow that dream. Many people think that to go to university, you need money. Yes, there is money involved, but there is NSFAS as well who can assist and help you to get that degree, to get that paper. And later, when you work, you are able to pay back NSFAS. But also, what is so amazing, when you chow your courses, when you pass, when you are excelling in university, that NSFAS can be turned into what? Into a bursary. So now, if you're doing grade 12 right now, work hard there so that you can get good marks, good points that will make you to be able to go to university and make you to get NSFAS as a funding that will help you to go through your university. You understand? And when you get there in the arts, or in whatever field that you want to be within the arts, because there's acting, there's visual arts, there's dance, there's poetry. So those are the artistic disciplines that you get. Focus on what you want. Don't open up. Focus there, and then when you get into the industry, start to open up. And what you must know, you getting that degree doesn't guarantee you a job. There's so many people who are talented out there, and talent sometimes with education, but focus and do your best. What is the reality of an art graduate in South Africa in terms of employment? That is a difficult question, because South Africa on its own, there is quite a highest rate of unemployment, and in the arts it has always been difficult. So running these programs and spaces, I've always had a lot of graduates in the arts who are unemployed, who are stressed, who are depressed. They don't know what to do. That's the reason why a lot of them die today. It's because of depression. They can't find any jobs. Imagine not finding a job with a talent and not finding a job with a degree. So many young people with degrees, with so much talent, who are not even getting jobs right now. And it's sad to see that happening. Even myself, I haven't been working at all ever since I graduated, but I've managed to create my own work, create jobs for myself, and sell ideas and collaborate with different people throughout the world. I tour a lot throughout the world, and I make sure that I meet up with people who are going to support my initiatives and people who are going to create employment for me. When I speak in different universities, when I teach in different universities online, when I speak online, I charge. I cannot speak anywhere for free, because I know I'm not going to get a job for the next 3 months, 4 years, or even, you understand, 10 years. So you need to create your own job. You need to be very much innovative. You need to be a go-getter. You need to be a game changer. There are no jobs out there. Many of them right now, they are stressed. They don't know what to do with their lives. So it's difficult to be an artist in South Africa. It was supposed to be like any other countries where an artist is given a little bit of money a month, you understand, to survive, because it's really is difficult to survive. The only thing that we forget as artists is that we are businesses ourselves as an artist. But the problem that we have is that we want to depend on other businesses. Market Theatre is a business. State Theatre is a business. Baxter Theatre is a business. Magnet Theatre is a business. KCRC is a business. Let us not depend on those businesses. Let's create our own businesses and collaborate with those businesses, especially if you have knowledge, especially if you went to university. Especially when you went to university, people start to respect you. If I didn't go to university, if I didn't go to Vets University, I wouldn't be this Mandisi that I am today. But because I went to university, when I say I am Mandisi Sindo and I'm a graduate from Vets University, I'm a graduate from UCT, people start to open up their eyes. You understand? Start to listen to me than someone who did not go to university. So what I can say is that wake up, know your worth, know what you want, fight for what you want. If you need to do what has been done by other artists where they sit in for 60 days in different institutions to get respect, do so as artists. Stand up for your rights. But what I can say, find alternatives as well. If you want to be a teacher, become a teacher. If you want to do something else, be an entrepreneur, do something else. Otherwise, you will forever be doomed. My social vision as an artist living in South Africa is to innovate, is to create, is to make sure that I make the arts be seen, make the arts respected. And it's not only about that, but also how do we create jobs using our own talents? How do we change your talent now into a business? That's the reason why right now I am starting. I'm an artist and I've got about 90,000 followings on TikTok. I've got around 20,000 following on Facebook. You understand? So how do I now change my art? Because people are following an artist. But now how do I change my art into a business? How do I make myself now to be seen as a business rather than just an artist? If someone is following me as an artist, then someone will definitely follow me as a businessman. You understand? So please wake up and do things for yourselves and make businesses, guys. God bless you and thank you very much. Yeah, there's nothing more that I can say than saying let us innovate spaces. Right now, my thought is about creating a school for the arts and also for African languages, where we speak all African languages, to have Zimbabweans in the space as teachers, to have Nigerians in the space as teachers, to have people from Lesotho as well in the space as teachers. And that school is not going to be anywhere but in the Eastern Cape, where there's so many people who are longing and who wants to become artists. But if you want to be an artist, you are told to go to Johannesburg, you are told to go to Cape Town, you are told to go to Northern Cape. No, rural areas, you have talent. We can create things, our own things in the rural areas. And that's the reason why Mandisi Sindo right now is in the rural areas. Let's change lives. Let's make things happen. And God bless you all. Hi, my name is Mandisi Dr. Mandisi Sindo. I'm a theatre practitioner, graduate from the University of Cape Town, and also doing my postgrad at the Wits University. I am a South African Hero recipient, and also I am a Western Cape Lead SA Hero, and God bless you. There's nothing much that I can say. Drakata.